Welcome back to Montreal Connected. The Formula One season wrapped up recently with a win by Sebastian Vettel in Brazil, and now Max Bitton and Cote join us to discuss the future of the Grand Prix in Montreal and a look ahead to next season. So JC, last summer, the Formula One management team were supposed to have an announcement with the race organizers about the race in Montreal. What is the status of it?
Well, right now all we know is that the 2014 race is confirmed on the calendar.
Okay.
So a deal has been done between Ecclestone's team and Dumonti's team. We don't have the full details on what comes next though. Is it going to be 5 years or 10 years or 9 more years to tack on to the one that's already there? And so we're all waiting with bated breath to see what's going to happen.
And what's Bernie Ecclestone looking for, Max, in terms of a dollar amount, contract length, track improvements?
Well, right now we're paying approximately $15 million a year, which initially he wanted $35 million a year. So I think there's going to probably be an increase of about 10%. The only issues that we have now are the 10-year type of longevity contract. Mm-hmm. The idea is, of course, a lot of North American Grand Prix want to establish themselves, like, for example, if you think about New Jersey that was canceled, you had Mexico that was supposed to happen. A lot of North American market type of openings are happening, and Montreal right now needs to be there.
Do you know about the track improvement demands?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of what they're asking for is going to be expensive. In the short term, they don't need to do all that much. The main problem is the square footage of the pit area and the garages. So I think they can get by for a couple of years with some temporary improvements, but then at some point they're going to have to invest some money and really go for it.
Well, Mayor Cote has already said that the city of Montreal cannot afford those specific improvements. And that's despite the fact that the city the track does belong to the city. So could this put the Montreal race in jeopardy going forward?
I think so long as the race in New Jersey and the race in Mexico don't have their ducks in a row, Montreal's kind of in a power position right now in terms of being able to make little changes at a time or temporary improvements or greater bargaining power. But in the long term, if New Jersey puts everything together properly, then of course Montreal's going to have to catch up and make those improvements.
What's the financial impact of the race on the city of Montreal?
Well, the financial impact is huge. I mean, you have to realize that when people watch the race of Montreal, it's almost 500 million eyeballs that are looking at that race. F1 is a global media type of marketing strategy, so they need sponsors. The economic impact is not just in Montreal, but it's across Canada. It's part of a very selective group. We can harness many events, but as big as F1, it's really rare, especially, unless you have the Olympics or the FIFA World Cup. If we do replace Montreal by another, event, what can we bring? We have the festivals, which is great, but to have that type of VIP and jet set celebrity walk-ins, F1 is part of a very private club, and the drivers love Montreal. They love the joie de vivre, they love the restaurants, the hotels, the bars. A lot of family businesses live off that weekend, so the financial impact is huge.
Yeah, and it's very obvious. You could see downtown come alive and how many tourists come to attend the event. It must be very beneficial for businesses downtown in that area.
A lot of the restaurants and clubs downtown suffered greatly when we lost the race temporarily in 2009. So they make a good portion of their profits in the week leading up and the couple of days after that race. So it's critical for this city. And it's the biggest sporting event in Canada that happens to be based here in Montreal, so I think it's important to hang on to it.
Now, would you say that the Montreal race is still considered one of the most popular and well-attended F1 races in the world?
It is. Part of the reason is that the teams know what to expect when they come here now. They've been coming here for a long time. The other thing that I always hear from people in and around Formula One is that the fans in the city are very knowledgeable when it comes to race car driving. So they follow the sport, they understand the sport, and people who travel all around the world putting on this show, they appreciate being able to come to a city where people understand it and can talk the lingo and can connect with them on that level. And it's not just about being at some glamorous event, mm-hmm. as is the case in some of the other new races that you find all over the world now in the Far East and stuff. So.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree with you, JC. If I may add, Montreal is the closest track. It's like 5 minutes by subway. Yeah. The idea is that when something is so accessible and there's safety behind it, you want to come back and back and back.
Well, I'm looking forward to next season.
Absolutely.
Thank you both so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Stay tuned for more Montreal Connected.